Erfahren Sie, wie Sie klassische Bewerbungsfragen mit Einblick in das Warum dahinter angehen können. Entdecken Sie Strategien zum Präsentieren von Fähigkeiten, Umgang mit Stärken und Schwächen, Beantworten von Verhaltensfragen und Bewältigen logistischer und unerwarteter Fragen. Betonen Sie die Bedeutung des Stellens von durchdachten Fragen und des Hinterlassens eines bleibenden Eindrucks. Finden Sie die richtige Passform für sowohl Sie als auch das Unternehmen, indem Sie Ihre Erfahrungen mit deren Bedürfnissen verbinden.
All right, so you've got some job interviews coming up, and you're feeling that mix of like, I've got this, and what if I totally blank?
Oh, yeah.
We've all been there, I think.
Absolutely.
And that's why today's deep dive is tackling those like classic interview questions, but we're not just giving you the what to say,
Right.
but like the why behind those questions so you can really nail it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
We're using this great article from the Muse. It's called 65 Most Common Interview Questions and Answers.
It's like having a cheat sheet, right?
Yeah.
But the real win, I think, is understanding what the interviewer is actually trying to figure out.
Right.
That's how you go from like just reciting canned responses to really having a genuine conversation.
Totally.
Which makes you stand out.
Exactly. So let's jump right in with that question that can like make or break those first few minutes. Tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
The article says this one's super important because it sets the tone.
It does.
But it's also where a lot of people, I think, trip up.
Yeah, definitely.
They suggest this like present, past, future structure.
Which, by the way, is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Because it forces you to think of this as like your elevator pitch.
Okay.
You're the product.
Yeah.
This job is the solution to their problem.
I like that.
What's that concise, compelling story that connects you to this role?
Okay, so I see where they're going with this. It's not just like listing your resume bullet points.
Yeah.
The article gives this example. It starts like, well, I'm currently an account executive at Smith where I handle our top performing client.
Right.
But how do I tailor that to, say, like a tech startup versus a big bank?
That's where research, I think, becomes your secret weapon.
Okay.
So let's say you're interviewing at a company that's known for its like innovative culture. Instead of just saying, I handle clients, you could say something like, I thrive in fast-paced environments where I can bring creative solutions to the table, which is why I'm so drawn to companies' track record of like pushing boundaries.
Oh.
You see how that subtly aligns you with their values?
Ooh, that's sneaky good.
Yeah.
So it's about taking those like core skills and showing how they fit into their world.
Precisely. Now those why questions like, why this company, why this job, why should we hire you?
Oh, yeah.
Those can be tricky.
They are.
The article talks about being specific, doing your research, showing passion.
Right.
But what does that actually look like?
Yeah, I feel like everyone says I'm passionate these days.
Yeah.
What's a less generic way to like approach those questions?
Yeah.
Because I know I've definitely stumbled through them before.
For sure.
And it's not pretty.
So imagine you're interviewing at, let's say, a company that makes educational software.
Okay.
A weak answer to why this company would be something like, you're a leader in the field.
Right.
A strong answer might be something like, I was blown away by your recent project using AI to personalize learning.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about making education more accessible, and I think my skills in X and Y could contribute to that mission.
Okay, so it's about connecting the dots between their work, your values, and your actual skills.
Yes.
It's not just flattery. It's showing that you get what they're about.
And that you've actually thought about how you fit into the picture.
Right.
Interviewers are looking for problem solvers,
Right.
not just people who want a job.
Makes sense. All right, let's tackle the strengths and weaknesses duo. Everybody loves talking about their strengths, or at least they should.
Right.
But what are your weaknesses? Can feel like a trap.
It can be.
The article says to focus on like quality over quantity for strengths. Back it up with examples.
Right.
But is there a way to spin even a weakness into something positive?
Absolutely. The key is to frame it as something you're actively working on.
Okay.
Instead of saying, I'm bad at public speaking.
Yeah.
You might say, I've been consciously pushing myself to present more at work. I recently volunteered to lead a team meeting, and while I still get nervous, I'm getting more comfortable each time.
Okay.
It shows self-awareness and a desire to grow.
So it's turning that weakness into a growth opportunity.
That's clever. It's about being authentic, but also demonstrating that you're not letting your weaknesses hold you back. Now, those behavioral questions,
Yes.
the ones that start with, tell me about a time you,
Yeah.
these are where storytelling, I think, becomes crucial. The article mentions the STAR method.
Wait, before we get into that, can we break down what the STAR method actually is?
Sure.
I feel like people just throw that around.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure everyone knows what it means.
Great point. STAR stands for situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
It's a way to structure your answer.
Gotcha.
So it's clear and compelling. For example, let's say the question is, tell me about a time you failed.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd probably want to just hide under the table.
Don't worry. We'll use the STAR method to conquer it.
Okay.
First, you describe the situation. Maybe you were leading a project that missed a deadline.
Yeah.
Then the task, your role in the project.
Mm-hmm.
Next, the action. What steps did you take to address the situation? And finally, the result. What did you learn, and how did you apply that learning to future projects?
So it's not just admitting the failure.
Right.
It's showing how you handled it and what you learned from it. That makes so much more sense.
Exactly. Behavioral questions are about showcasing your skills and experience through real-life examples.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Like, it's all about, like, showing, not telling.
Yeah.
Now, those logistical questions, salary expectations, relocation, when can you start?
Right.
Those can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure.
The article says to be honest and clear, which makes sense, but is there a way to, like, handle those without feeling like I'm either lowballing myself or, like, scaring them off?
It's definitely a balancing act.
Yeah.
When it comes to salary, do your research.
Okay.
Know your worth,
Mm-hmm.
but also be prepared to discuss a range, not just like a fixed number.
Okay.
If you say, I'm looking for X, and they were thinking Y,
Yeah.
the conversation might end right there.
Right.
But if you say, based on my experience and skills, I'm targeting something in the range of X to Y,
Okay.
it opens up a dialogue.
That's a great tip. It's about leaving room for negotiation,
Right.
but still being confident in what you bring to the table. What about those, like, when can you start questions?
Yeah.
I've always wondered if it's better to be available immediately or if it's okay to say, you need some time.
Honesty and professionalism, I think, are key here.
Okay.
If you need to give 2 weeks' notice at your current job, say that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a pre-planned vacation, be upfront about it.
Yeah.
Most employers understand these things as long as you're presenting it in a professional manner.
Right.
Instead of saying, I need a month to chill after my last job.
Right.
Try something like, I have some prior commitments to wrap up, but I could be fully available starting date.
Okay, so it's about being transparent,
Yes.
but also showing you're eager to start.
Exactly.
And the article also stresses the importance of asking questions at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
But I feel like sometimes I just draw a blank.
Yeah.
What are some good questions that go beyond the usual, like, what's the company culture like?
That's where your research comes in handy again.
Okay.
Look at the company's website, their social media, recent news articles.
Right.
What piques your interest?
Yeah.
Maybe they just launched a new product. Ask about their strategy for it.
Okay.
Or maybe they have a unique employee development program. Ask how it works.
Gotcha.
It shows you've done your homework and you're genuinely curious.
Ooh, I like that. It's turning the interview into like a two-way street.
Yes.
You're not just trying to impress them, you're also gathering information to see if this is the right fit for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, what about those curveball questions, like the brain teasers?
Oh, yeah.
I remember reading about those in the Muse article. It's like, how many golf balls fit in a school bus?
Oh.
Who even knows?
The point of those isn't to get the right answer.
Okay.
They're testing your problem-solving skills and how you think on your feet.
Right.
So take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
Break it down.
Yeah.
Maybe talk through your thought process out loud.
Right.
Even if your final number is way off,
Yeah.
they'll see how you approach a challenge.
So it's about the journey, not the destination. What about those personality test type questions?
Right.
Like, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Oh, yeah.
I always find those so weird.
I know.
But I guess they're trying to see a different side of you.
Exactly. There's no right or wrong answer here.
Yeah.
Just try to use it as a chance to showcase your personality
Okay.
and maybe tie it back to the job.
Right.
So maybe you say, I'd be a redwood, strong, resilient, and always reaching for growth, just like I strive to do in my career. See how that subtly reinforces your ambition?
Okay. That's pretty smooth. It's like sneaking in your strengths even when they're asking about trees.
Exactly.
And I remember the Muse also had a section on questions specific to certain fields, like sales.
Yes.
They had that classic sell me this pen challenge.
Right.
I feel like that one would make me freeze up on the spot.
It's definitely a test of your persuasion skills.
Yeah.
But remember, it's not about being pushy. It's about listening to the customer, understanding their needs, and highlighting how the pen or whatever they ask you to sell meets those needs.
Okay.
Maybe it's the smooth writing, the elegant design, the durability,
Yeah.
whatever it is, find that hook and make it relevant to them.
So it's like tailoring your pitch to the audience, just like we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of the interview. You've answered all their questions, and they ask, is there anything else you'd like us to know? Is that like a trick question? Should I have some big reveal planned?
Think of it as your closing argument.
Okay.
You've presented your case throughout the interview.
Mm-hmm.
This is your last chance to highlight something crucial or reiterate your enthusiasm.
Okay.
Maybe you say, we haven't talked much about my experience in relevant skill, which I think could be a real asset here.
Yeah.
Or, I just want to emphasize how excited I am about this opportunity and the chance to contribute to your team.
So it's about leaving them with a strong final impression.
Yes.
And then, of course, comes the do you have any questions part. Right.
What are some ways to make those questions really count?
Yeah.
Because I know it's important to ask something.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to sound generic or like I haven't been paying attention.
Remember, this is your chance to gather information and evaluate them.
No.
Just like they're evaluating you. Go beyond the surface level and ask questions that show you're thinking critically about the role and the company.
Like what?
Yeah.
Give me some examples.
Let's say they've mentioned a new initiative the company is working on.
Mm-hmm.
You could ask, what are the biggest challenges you anticipate facing with that project?
Okay.
Or what opportunities for professional development are available within this role?
Gotcha.
Or what's one thing you wish you'd known before joining this company?
Okay, those are good. They're not just asking for information.
Right.
They're like sparking a conversation.
Exactly.
It shows you're engaged and you're thinking long term.
And it gives you valuable insights to help you decide if this is truly the right fit for you. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into interview questions, what are the big takeaways for our listeners?
I think the biggest one is to ditch the idea of canned responses.
Yeah.
You really need to understand what the interviewer is looking for and tailor your answers accordingly. They're not just looking for skills.
Right.
They're looking for problem solvers, people who can think on their feet and add value to their company.
It's like we've been saying, it's about connecting the dots between your experience, their needs, and how you can be the solution.
Exactly. And don't forget, the interview is a two-way street.
Right.
Come prepared with insightful questions and gather the information you need to make an informed decision.
Totally.
Remember, the right fit benefits both you and the company.
Absolutely. It's not just about getting the job, you know? It's about finding a role where you can thrive and contribute your unique talents. So to all our listeners out there prepping for interviews, remember, you've got this.
Yeah.
Preparation, self-awareness, and a genuine passion for what you do will take you far.
And remember, even if a specific opportunity doesn't work out, each interview is a learning experience.
That's true.
Take note of what went well, what could be improved, and use that to refine your approach for next time.
So go out there, rock those interviews, and remember, we're here to support you every step of the way.
Thanks of luck.